Good evening, friends, everybody, and welcome to this session with Ashish Kyal, a known personality. You must have seen him on the media, financial news, discussing charts. Today, we have an opportunity to have a one-to-one talk and ask questions to Ashish. See, if I have to give a who is Ashish, what is doing, it will take me 30 minutes. But very briefly, Ashish is an author. You can see the books on his right hand side, which is Effective Trading in Financial Markets with Technical Analysis. So, Ashish has a fair degree of expertise in technical analysis, and its style is based on Elliott waves, neo waves, and time cycles. He's also member of CMT USA plus IFTA USA. Also is an engineer. So we'll talk more of that. He is a regular speaker on CNBC and ET now. So that was a brief, Ashish. Why don't you introduce yourself to all the traders out there who have been eagerly waiting to listen you?
Thank you, Hitesh ji, for the kind introduction. It's always lovely to be interacting with the veterans of the market themselves. And I think you briefed up everything that I am. So I'm not a member of IFT. I've spoken for IFT. I'm a member of
Okay.
CMT
CMT.
that way. And just to add on, there is a show on CNBC Awaaz which is known as Khiladi Number One show, which happens on CNBC Awaaz. I have won that show approximately 39 times. So
Oh.
uh, that's. I thought I'll just add that up. And the book, yes, this book which I have written has been published worldwide. It took me 2 years to write it. Launched in
Okay.
October 2020. Has been a wonderful journey for me. And very quickly, I was working with Lehman Brothers in 2008. Lehman
Okay.
Brothers filed bankruptcy, and 2008 was chaotic, eye-opening for me. I did my CMT all three levels in 1 year of time. कुछ करने को था नहीं तो तीनों level कर लिए, and then that's how my journey started and began, and it has been. I'm a passionate trader. I'm a passionate mentor. I love talking, and it's simply lovely to see people, doing so well. People who are struggling, and I want to address that gap which is there, especially in the times of CS
Yeah.
closing auction
Yes.
session के बारे में तो पता ही है. So that's what I can say about myself.
But Ashish, like I would like to add, the gap is very big and the gap is huge. See what happened in our market. Like I came in the market in 2001 and we are now into 2026. The technology for traders, right now we are at par. Let's say if I'm using a platform like a TradeStation or a Think or Swim, or let's say a interactive brokers. In technology terms, we have advanced way ahead and we are in terms of the best. But when it comes to trading education, being on the right side, or at some point of time having that community of professional traders or regulars expo regular meeting, somehow I feel that is missing right now over here. We have see, you have started it in your way, but don't you think there is a big gap between the traders learning, traders education, and traders technology? See, if you have to use the trading technology, you need the input, which is your education part. Your take on that, Ashish?
Yeah, absolutely. You rightly pointed out. So the traders' education is something which is very, very important, which is actually lacking. So what has happened because of the technology, the ease of execution has become very convenient, right? You can execute anything from your phone. You can travel and do the trade. That has also resulted into impulsive trading behavior or compulsive trading behavior. Now that is also a very big challenge because of impulsive trading. If someone sees a chart, because the chart is now, because of technology available, everyone can see 2 minutes chart, everyone can see a 5 minute chart. Now when you seeing a chart, you see that the candle is going up, 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 and suddenly you want to be impulsively, no, I'm missing out, I'm having a strong miss out feeling, and I should buy. You end up buying. After you buy, you see it again reversing down and it going so fast that you think, okay, okay, I am stuck, I should sell. So this impulsive trading behavior or compulsive trading behavior has kicked in because of technology, I would say, and lack of discipline among the traders. So the other thing is overload of information. There are so many videos available now. Where I remember when I did my studies of technical analysis 2006, 2007, there was hardly anything. So I have to go through the books, I have to practice it, and I have to go through that. I think that journey was much better. It was strugglesome, but that was the right approach. Now, every other day, you see there are so many videos, so many webinars, so many people without credentials are coming up and saying this is what you should do, this is what you should not do. Lot of things, lot of information. So there is an information overload, because of which traders are confused whether I should practice this, whether I should practice price action, or I should look at candlesticks, or I should look at moving average, because there is a plethora of information. And what is very important, they have forgotten the fact that the method is only 30%. The risk money management is 30% of it. The remaining 35% is trading psychology, and the 5% is luck. So everyone is focusing only on 30% of the method, which can be price action, which can be trading techniques, which can be Elliott wave. But they are not focusing on risk management, money management, not on trading psychology, and that part plays a very vital role in a trader's perspective. For a successful trader, you have to have the right ingredient of everything.
Okay. Ashish, you talked about impulsive trading. So one thing, when I meet lots of traders at Incred Money Broking, I find at some point, or other traders who are trading at various other places, everybody still don't know what should be the starting point or what question he should ask himself to see that what is his dominant style of trading. It's not that market खुल गया अब चलो कुछ भी ले लेते कुछ भी बेच देते. So there is a big struggle among traders to decide what is my style of trading and what I should stick for it. So what are the traits he should look for which will help him to define his style of trading, whether it could be a day trading, swing trading, mix of day swing plus options, options plus, let's say, a credit spread, or how he position himself or build his career as a trader. So what is the footing on which he should be doing all this?
So see, yeah, I keep mentoring a lot of people in my mentorship sessions. Also, I first tell them to do an introspection. It's very important to do an introspection to understand what is your style. So everyone has a personality, right? Everyone has their own strengths and weakness, and the situation. It's very important to know what is your trading style, what is your trading personality, is what I would say. Because someone might be okay to do an intraday scalping kind of a trader, someone might be very anxious about doing scalping, he's more like a positional trader. And also people should understand their situation. What is your situation around? If you are in a work throughout the day where you are seeing the market only once or twice, but you want to make money intraday, then that's not going to happen, because your situation does not allow that to happen. So you have to understand that as well. Second most important thing is, everyone talks about how much money you will make. No one is talking about how much risk are you okay to take. So that's a very, very strong way of saying the. I always look market from what is my risk, and am I okay to lose this much if it goes against me? But people are looking at only how much I'm going to make money if my option doubles from here, if the because of the closing auction session I buy an option and then it becomes ITM, how much I'll make. Those things have got into where they think it's fast money, it's quick money, and I can be rich overnight. Now, that is not possible. You can be lucky once, you can be lucky twice, but you cannot be lucky 100 times. So what remains in the 100 times is a pure process and the method that you follow. What you made because you were lucky, you will lose also eventually. That can happen. So the luck will cancel out, randomness will cancel out. What will remain is the process, and what you should evaluate yourself to identify your style of trading is how much risk are you okay to take. Are you someone who is okay with options? If you're buying options, people say option buying, there is limit. Theoretically, what we have learned is option buying with limited risk, option selling is unlimited. Simple concept I'm going to ask is, if I buy an option on the expiry day with all my capital, it can become zero. So where is the risk limited? So
Yes.
it also has complete a lot of risk, right?
Yeah.
So these things are very important. People should understand. And when I also interacted with a few people who lost money, is because they heard from a friend that he is able to make lakhs of rupees, and so he also started doing it and then lost a lot of money. So without having the necessary knowledge and understanding.
So Ashish, मैंने भी कहीं सुना था. I think it was one of the renowned trader. He says, as a trader, you are only a risk manager. आपके हाथ में सिर्फ risk है. आपके जो हाथ में है, आप उस पे काम करो, and then let other things falls in place. So see, the one thing which is definite in a trade is your stop loss. Target is a function of a market. Right,
Absolutely,
Ashish?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So stop loss is something that has happened. You can see it. It's there on the chart.
Yeah.
Target is something which is future, जो हुआ ही नहीं है. हम तो future predict कर रहे हैं, which is uncertain. तो हमारे हाथ में stop loss है. Absolutely, absolutely. No second thought. And उसमें भी problem क्या होता है? The stop loss that is put in by the traders, they are putting the stop loss because I have a limited capital. I can put a stop loss of only 50 points on Nifty, so I am putting 50 points. Now that's wrong.
Okay.
Nifty moves by like 200, 300 points on a daily basis. On an average, ATR एक indicator होता है. अगर आप वो देखेंगे तो उससे पता चलता है Nifty daily basis पे कितना points move. So if Nifty moves by 200-300 points and you are a trader who is putting a stop loss of 30-40 points, तो नहीं चलेगा. You want not to risk capital, but then there is no balancing out. So ये चीजें समझना बहुत important है. And फिर होता क्या है, their stop loss gets triggered, it gets reversed, and then they say only my stops get triggered and the market. That's how it happens.
Okay.
So placing correct stop loss, volatility based stop loss is very crucial.
Okay. So friends, what Ashish is saying is एक इंडिकेटर रहता है जिसको हम ATR बोलते हैं, एवरेज ट्रू रेंज. एवरेज ट्रू रेंज का मतलब है आज के तारीख में अगर आप डेली का ATR देखो तो निफ्टी ऊपर कितनी जा सकती है और नीचे कितनी आ सकती है. ये आपका एक वोलेटिलिटी रेंज है. अगर आप अंदाज में 50 पॉइंट 40 पॉइंट अगर 100 पॉइंट भी रखोगे और भाव अगर ATR तक नीचे आ रहा है तो वो 250 पॉइंट तक नीचे जाके आपका स्टॉप लॉस ट्रिगर करा के then it will come up. I think what happened day before yesterday, it moved down by 80% of the ATR since I watch it on a daily basis and I have created few indicators also based on ATR. So वहाँ पे ऐसा लगेगा नहीं मार्केट अभी गया ही है. So make sure what Ashish has said, volatility measures incorporate in your trading. So Ashish, अगर इसको मैं next step लेके जाता हूँ, अगर मैं swing trader हूँ, I have, let's say, listened to you, read your books, heard about you in the market for the last 2 to 3 years. As a swing trader, right from price charts, time frame, profit targets, risk management, एक broad ये 4 framework है. उसके बेस पे मैं कैसे अपने आप को तैयार कर सकता हूँ? And what should I follow? देखिए, you are an expert in neo wave and Elliott wave. I was also an Elliottician, but Elliott wave takes time for you to understand, learn, but time cycles and momentum are quite uh, okay to start off with. Initially, they give you a good judgment. So how should a trader start or plan out for a swing trading in a professional manner? What are the inputs you would give him in terms of time frame he should use, in terms from some of the indicators? ATR is definite out there. Yes, Ashish, आप क्या बोलोगे इसके बारे में?
So see, I would suggest the simplest way to start with is to focus on two most important indicators that no one is looking at focused way is price and time.
Price and
Everyone
time.
is focusing on a lot on uh, derivative of price, which can be an RSI or MACD, and their trading decision is based on simply looking at MACD. If there is a crossover, I will buy. But just try and understand, when you are buying price and also time, and when you are selling price and also time. So focusing on price and time is very important way of seeing things. I'll also share across my chart
Yeah,
if you allow,
sure.
and I'll show you simple thing. Elliott wave definitely will take time for anyone to understand. Time cycle is what I also practice. I look at time cycles as a way of it is possible to time the market. So far, everyone has learned You should never time the market, should do a sip. I say you should time the market. It's
Yes.
possible to time the market. So those things are possible, and you can do that. Let me just share across
Sure.
my screen on, and the chart where I can show you very simply how we can look at simple concepts of price action and try to forecast. So if everyone is able to see this chart, which
Yeah.
is
Chart
I have
is
shared.
clear, Ashish.
Okay, so I'll just go on the screen here. On this chart, if you're looking at, this is a weekly chart of Nifty. This is not from a swing trading perspective, but if I'm starting very fresh, I first want to know what is happening over the period of time, just to get an understanding about the market. I might not necessarily buy, sell. Weekly is not my execution time frame. So hota kya, again, there is a problem where people look at a weekly chart and then they trade intraday. That's a big problem. You look at weekly chart to understand it. Where is the zone? What's the zone where you should? What is happening around? It's like looking at how dense the forest is. So when I look at this weekly chart, I can see that at the upper end, let me just draw a trend line here, and just a second. Uh, So this is my upper end of the zone where the market has moved. The this is So from here the market reversed down. This is my price action lower end of the area. So that's my zone within which overall movement broadly since 2 years is happening. Now, this is my prior high, which got broken here on the upside. So we essentially, basis of Dow theory, I can say we have formed a very clear higher high and higher low pattern. Very clear higher high, higher low pattern is formed here. So that essentially indicates that the trend is possibly more reversed on the positive side than on the negative side. This is what I can make out from the weekly chart. I'm not executing anything. I'm not put any indicator here.
Okay.
Then I come on this daily chart just to see if there is any kind of a pattern we are seeing, any kind of rejection, acceptance, what is happening around. So I come on the daily chart just to see smaller patterns. You can see small patterns which can be as small as a triangle, which can be as low, as much as a inverted head and shoulder pattern. So these
Okay.
are small patterns that you should start identifying. These are small triangle kind of a pattern if I can draw. And once I identify this pattern, I know, okay, the breakout levels are here. So if I'm trading swing, I can write this breakout level. Now my execution will come on an hourly chart or a 15-minute chart. So on an hourly or a 15-minute chart, when I go, I'll go on the past chart just from a compliance perspective. So when I look at this chart, then if I'm entering, simple, the simplest thing that a trader should start with is by looking at patterns and price action. When I say patterns, it can be smaller triangle, head and shoulder kind of thing. And then we see a breakout on the upside here. So I know if I'm buying here, my stop loss can be below the pattern. And what is my target? How do I derive the target? By measuring the width of the pattern, projecting it on the upside. That is my target. Then I have to check very clearly what is my risk to reward ratio. This no one is following. Following a risk to reward is the minimum approach that a trader should do. If my risk is a lot and the reward is less, I don't take the trade. I need at least 1 to 1.5 as my risk reward in order to take a trade. At least I'm saying at minimum. Risk reward means stop loss कितना है, reward means target कितना है. Now target आएगा या नहीं वो तो मार्केट बताएगा क्योंकि भाव भगवान है, प्राइस इज गॉड, वो बताएगा. जो रिस्क है वो मेरे हाथ में डिफाइंड है, जैसे हमने स्टार्टिंग में भी बात की. So risk is in my hand, but the reward is not in my hand. So I would say that always identify a simple price action pattern, and then after identifying the price action pattern, see if there is a risk reward setup. If I lose in my swing trading, I lose say 2%. But if I'm making, am I making 4% or more or at least 3%? तो होता क्या है, अगेन द माइंडसेट गेम, एज आई सेड 30% इज माइंडसेट. होता क्या है, जब प्रॉफिट बन रहा है, वी वेरी वेरी क्विकली ट्राई टू बुक द प्रॉफिट. and the loss for a, let's wait, let's hold on, let's see what will happen, let's look at chart pattern, like let's look at something else. So you start searching reasons why you have to hold on, and that's why the losses happen. And 90% of the traders, I will say, are losing money only because they are not evaluating risk reward. So if you want to start your professional journey, start focusing on prices, start focusing on patterns. I come across a lot of people who say, I'm a price action trader. I ask them, if you're a price action trader, what is your setup? He says, I'm a price action trader still. So there is no setup, which means he just look at the candle. If the candle is big enough, I'll buy. If the candle is small enough, that's how price action traders are.
Yeah.
Instead of identifying where is the demand, where is the supply, where is the zone where price can possibly reverse, which is the pattern that is forming, what is my risk reward, that is actually price action trading. But people are simply saying, I'm a price action trader. I'm looking at bullish engulfing, bearish engulfing, hanging man or hammer. I'm saying you don't look at only that. First, you look at the zone of reversals. Then, if bullish engulfing is forming at that reversal zone, that is very, very crucial. I call it from the area of significance. So, identify these areas on the chart. That's very important.
So, Ashish, just now you mentioned about a bullish candle, a bearish candle at reversal. So, I remember, I guess it was in 2004 5. I was listening to a seminar by Steve Nissen. He said one of the biggest mistake traders are making is they are looking at candle in isolation of location where it has not very much relevance. So just to tell
Absolutely.
सब traders को मैं बताता हूँ, अगर आपको bullish candle resistance पे मिल गई तो आप बुलिश कैंडल देख के करोगे भी क्या, प्राइसेस आर ऑलरेडी एट द रेजिस्टेंस. और बेरिश कैंडल अगर आपको सपोर्ट पे दिख गई, आप वहां पे मंदी में आ जाओगे और दैट्स अ रिवर्सल पॉइंट. सो आशीष, आप इसको कैसे सम अप करोगे लुकिंग कैंडल्स इन कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ लोकेशन? I think it struck
Exactly.
me very hard, I guess, in 2004-5 itself. मैंने आज तक किसी को ये बात करते हुए नहीं देखा. I guess first time I'm listening to somebody, Ashish, who pointed out this, which says candlestick in isolation doesn't have that much relevance. ठीक है, आपको एक स्पाइक मिल जाएगी, 1% 2% का मूव मिल जाएगा, आप हिट एंड रन ट्रेडिंग करके निकल सकते हो, बट दैट्स नॉट स्विंग ट्रेडिंग और दैट्स नॉट अ प्लान ट्रेडिंग. That club comes more under the speculation part. So yes, Ashish, about candlesticks and location.
Absolutely. So I call that as area of significance. So only a and something like this, if you see, you will come across only people who are a trader. Someone who has read the book will never understand the importance of this. So someone who has been trading, so I have been trading for 2 decades now. It's completely understanding these things are so important. So the location can be where it is exactly forming. So for example, if there is a bigger chart where you see a double bottom formation happening,
To
and
interrupt you, if you want, you can show it on charts also. So all the traders के
sure,
दिमाग में ये चीज बैठना चाहिए. And remember, like कहीं note में लिख दो, something which Ashish explained to you today will be your foundation for you as a trader to be successful.
absolutely. So I'll come back. The only thoda sa issue है कि when I'm sharing my chart, my entire mouse becomes little erratic, so it doesn't move.
Okay.
So I'm still managing it, so that's
Okay.
not a problem. So if I'm looking at, say, for example, I also look at as I said, where is it forming? Where is the location? So if I'm looking at this specific chart, the first thing that I have to do is, this is the zone. People always look at trend line as a single line. I look at trend line as a zone. Zone means, is it forming in this area? So for example, if you look at this is my zone, it's never going to be a single line. It's never going to be a single point. It has to be a zone. When something is forming as a zone here, and now if I see a hammer or a reversal or a bullish engulfing pattern or some pattern, this becomes extremely important information for me. Extremely important, because this is the zone from where prices have reversed up multiple times. This is the zone which is a double bottom kind of a pattern that we see here. And I would not go and try to buy. So what happens in the books people have read about, After the double bottom formed, you buy above the break of the neckline.
Yeah.
But the challenge is currently, if you observe, these moves are already a lot that has happened, and you end up buying on the breakouts after the sustainable move has happened. And that's when the reversal happens. So what is happening is you end up buying at the high and selling at the low. What I am saying is when there is a double bottom, triple bottom patterns, and you see a bullish engulfing now, or you see a morning star patterns, this is the location that you should be keeping a watch on, and this is where you should think of buying the market. When you see there has been a multiple hurdle, so if you look at this zone again I'll draw a zone, not just single price point. This is going to be a zone. People look at it like a single price point. नहीं, आपको ये zone देखना है, क्योंकि prices है, sentiments are driving the price. It is not necessarily go to 26,300, not at 26,310. It is going to go to that range. Once you identify that range, and then you see a reversal happening from that range, that becomes very crucial. ये मैं daily पे दिखा रहा हूँ, but you can drill down for a swing trading. You can drill down to as much as even a 15-minute chart or a 1 hour chart. So if I look at a 1 hour time frame, I'll just go and look at a few examples here, which is easy for understanding perspective. If I'm looking at this example, let me go on the past chart just a second. We want to identify these areas. Now, if this is the area which we saw on the daily chart, now this is the same area where you are seeing it on 1 hour time frame chart. Now, when you're looking at this area on 1 hour time frame, I know prices are struggling in this range. This gap was because of the event which happened, so you might ignore it, but it still stopped exactly at that level. During my CNBC interview, I was asked about crude oil, and I'm going to show you a very interesting chart. People say the news are driving the crude oil prices because everyone is seeing the news, what's happening, and everyone is saying Trump is driving it. I'm going to go on Brent crude, and I'm going to show you one weekly chart here.
Okay.
On Brent crude, and if you look at the Brent crude prices on the weekly time frame, you will see something phenomenal.
Okay.
This is the chart from 2008. So we saw 2008 top happening in Brent crude around $136. Now, what is interesting is the Russia-Ukraine war happened in 2021. If you look at that, the Russia-Ukraine war, we topped out around this zone of 124, $125. Now the war happened of Iran and US and Israel, but crude oil topped out again at around $122. So even if you are looking at news and events, the markets are respecting very important
Levels.
and resistance zone. So you have to go on the chart. You cannot say it is because of the news the market moved. The news just triggered it, but the market is moving on its own phase. So the gap can be because of the news. But when you go on a 15-minute chart, you will see a systematic movement, systematic support zone. So if I'm looking at this chart, this is the pattern that I see, which is a triangle pattern. Breakout on the upside, retest of the neckline, and we reverse back on the higher side. So these patterns are crucial that you have to observe on a shorter term time frame. See, just look at it. This is where we break out. This is where we came down. So I'm not buying on the breakout. Why? My risk is too high. If I buy here, my stop loss is too far away. So I'm not buying there. I have to wait patiently. When I wait patiently, prices came down, not touching necessarily, reverse back on the upside. Now this is where I might look forward to buy, keeping this low as a stop loss. Now I have a stop in place. I know where is my risk. So always try to see if I am buying a stock, if I am buying a commodity, where is my risk? Is my stop loss based on price action, or is my stop loss just based on how much I can lose? Do not place stop loss based on how much you are okay to lose, but basis of where is exactly the price action support zone. I can show you so many patterns just in this one chart. If I see patterns. It's not easy for everyone to see it that quickly because you need to train your eyes for it. But once you start seeing it, you cannot miss it. Just look at it. A triangle pattern again. The breakout happened on the upside. So I'll buy here because my stop loss is very near. Now I can place a stop loss on this commodity and I can buy. And it is applicable across. It's not necessarily have to apply it on crude oil only. or Nifty only. You can apply it on stocks. You can apply it on commodities. You can apply it on gold, silver. I show you gold chart. I mean, and and be versatile. People look at only one type of chart and then say I'll show you one chart of gold which I have here. You have to be versatile because if you are looking at only one asset, there is not necessarily an opportunity there. Now look at it. If I look at this, this is the trend line support, this is the trend line support, this is the trend line support, and we can clearly see the reversals happening from each of these trend line support zones. So these are reversal areas. Once I see a reversal areas from the support zone, we need to then identify if there is a bullish engulfing, bearish engulfing kind of pattern. So this is how I do it. This is, I think, how anyone should do it. You can do it even on a 5-minute chart, but then you have to be very quick in execution. You have to be fast with your stand. And once you have identified, the first thing that I will recommend everyone to do is put the stop loss in the system. People have stop loss in their mind. When it's in the mind, when the market moves, it moves so fast you don't have a reaction time, and then you froze. You are not able to pull the trigger. You just don't know what happened wrong, and you don't know before you can think. Things just mess up. So try to put stop loss in the system, and that is very crucial. People do not put stop losses in the system, and then they do a big mess up. That's very important to also understand. And before I just move on, I want to share across a quick disclaimer because we are talking stocks and charts.
Okay.
I'll just share that disclaimer slide very
Sure.
quickly, and then we'll move on to our discussion. So, Wave Strategy Advisors, we are SEBI registered research analyst. Wave Strategy Advisors is the firm name which I have found, and whatever we are discussing here is purely learning perspective. Investment in security market is risky, and registration granted is in no way guarantee of performance. Keep that in mind. And a quick disclosure. So please keep this in mind. That's very important. Okay, so I'll stop the disclosure slide.
Yeah.
Okay. So bottom line is that just try to find out the key reversal areas, find out the key important uh, trend lines, draw channels, identify the simple patterns, and then go to candlestick where the location is forming.
So Ashish, one more thing I noticed is that we generally mark a zone. I totally agree with you, but first time I saw somebody marking a trend line also as a zone. So should I also start doing it, marking trend line also as a zone, or take some width out there the way you're marking it?
Yes. So what will happen is it gives a very clear perspective. So because if we mark a single line, our brain starts thinking this is the point, but market doesn't move exactly in the point. Market can overshoot it a little, market can undershoot it a little. So once I have a zone, my perspective is right. That's the zone, that's the hurdle zone. Is there a definition of what is the width of the zone? There is no such definition. But you can see the chart. It went a little up. It went a little down. It just missed from a few points or some points. Then join all the points there. So that becomes like a zone.
Okay. So आशीष की हम बात सुन रहे थे. आशीष showed at the gold chart and it was such a great for him to figure out the chart in crude कि जहाँ से अभी crude घूमा है वो same level was there when the Ukraine war start. तो ये हमें क्या बताता है कि if correct me if I'm wrong, to go right look left. Am I right?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's a very wonderful way you pointed it out. Go left because that's where you see all the data points, right?
Yes. And since Ashish is a practitioner of wave theory, both in terms of classical theory, which is, I guess, the practice approach, and the neo wave, which is the Nellis method. So Elliot says, Ashish, like prices are representative or collective mass mood at any point of time. So,
Right.
given your experience, expertise, and in Elliott wave, which is the basis of Elliott, which is the mass psychology, uh, can you tell us about all the traders a few points about that?
Absolutely. So, see, what Elliott wave is actually defining is that whatever we see in the price is driven by social mood. So, social mood or a collective social mood of the crowd is determined, is what drives the prices either up or down. Now, to put it in a very simple context, if the overall sentiment is bad, even when something is very very appealing, you will avoid buying it. So what happened in 2008, I distinctly remember, I'll just share that example. The interest rates were falling in nearly to 0 to 0.25 in United States, when the interest rate went to as low as 0%. So the government said that, the Fed said that you can simply go and buy a car at zero interest. Why don't you buy it? But the sentiment was so bad that the people said, we already have one car, I have two. I don't even know whether I'll have a job tomorrow or not. Even if it's a 0% interest, I don't want to buy it. Now, it is sentiment. Now, people think that government drives the market. Now, if that's the case, why is the dollar yen movement is so much? Why we are still not able to control rupee movement? Because everyone thinks RBI drives rupee, but that's not possible. It's sentiment that drives rupee. And I'll show you on the rupee chart also, the trend line and the channel work so wonderfully well.
Okay.
So, and these moves happen in the form of patterns. I'll just share the chart. It happens
Sure.
in the form of patterns, and these patterns we see it in the form of Elliott wave. Elliott waves is things move 5 steps forward, it moves backward 5 steps, and we start seeing these patterns across on different time frames. So once I know the time frame where the prices are going to reverse from, and or if it is completing the fifth wave, I can then start applying my candlestick price action reversal pattern. Like, okay, it's at fifth wave and now it is forming a reversal. So which means we might be at a very important junction. That's how one has to look at it. Now simply look at this rupee chart. I mean, look at the way the trend lines, the lower trend line has functioned. Simply look at the way the upper trend line has functioned. Now, someone asked me, is RBI driving the rupee, or the rupee is just moving by this channel? And why does channel work? I mean, that's the question, I think. And but it works subconsciously. We do certain things which ends up working so damn well that we ourselves have no answers to it. And this is one such reason. So if I look at it from a wave perspective, very clearly, I think this is subdividing within 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We completed one here, we completed wave two down, we completed third year, we completed fourth year, and rupee is completing the fifth wave up, which means INR is going to appreciate, as far as I can see, coming back towards $92 against $92 levels, and that's what I am seeing it. And we can clearly see then the negative divergence on the prices and the channel. So the wave theory helped me further to get conviction. Okay, we are completing the fifth wave, so we might start seeing a downside move. And now my price action. Now I zoom in and look at my price action. Okay, what's happening here? Is there a pattern on a shorter term time frame, maybe on the daily or an hourly time frame? If yes, then I might start taking positions accordingly. So wave theory gave me a broader outlook where we should be headed from here on, how price should behave, how it can move, and then my price action methods patterns help me to time it very well to the smaller, shorter extent. We can also apply time cycles to see, like we apply trend lines to see how prices are moving. We can even apply time cycles to see when price reverses on each of the time. And since you asked about again Elliott wave, I'll share one research report which I published way back in the year 2013. I'll just share that slide also. That research itself shows how prices behaved, what was the forecast and how prices behaved. So this research was published in 2013, and why it was so important and why I'm talking about this research is simply from the fact that I'll just scroll down to show you the chart of Sensex. Sensex with Elliott wave applied and time cycle applied. It was trading around 18,000, and the forecast was done that Sensex will touch 61,000 levels. This research was in 2013, and it was written down here. If I scroll down and show it, it was
Yes.
written down Sensex will touch 61,000 level by 2020. I also mentioned a few lines down that there is a possible delay of 27 week, which means by July, October 2021, Sensex should touch that level. And Sensex, after 8 years, in October 2021, touched 61,000. And the study was basis of wave theory. This is just to showcase we can even
Yeah.
forecast the market using wave theory. This is Bank Nifty chart for 40,000 forecast, and then Bank Nifty, it was written 40,000 might sound irrational or crazy,
Yeah.
but if you go back and check, Bank Nifty touched 40,000 precisely from those levels also. So this is the power of that wave method if you apply it rightly. But with great powers comes great responsibilities also, which people forget. They forecast the market and then they stop managing the risk, and then they lose money.
That's sure. So, Ashish, just now we saw the rupee chart. So, I am a great believer in intermarket analysis as far as swing traders is concerned, because market in the short term is reactive to other indices, other asset class, or other intermarket relationship. See, as a swing trader, my stop losses are based on, let's say, zone, and I don't pick up any zone which is more than 3%. I skip it. So my comfort is not beyond 3% risk per trade. So when it comes to intermarket relationship, Ashish, which are the two to three which a trader should always give a glance first thing in the morning before market starts?
You rightly pointed out we are in a global world. In 2008, when the world markets were crashing and India was going up, everyone mentioned that it's decoupling. It was very, very common during those days. India decoupling India domestic growth, and that happened. So, and that happened. So, intermarket analysis, the first thing I see is if the Nifty is moving up, the overall index is moving up. Which are the sectors leading into it? So it can be intra-market also, it can be inter-market also. So you can see what happened with US, what's globally happening with US, what's happening with FTSE, which is UK, what's happening around with Nikkei market, general outlook, what's happening around these markets. Are they stable, or are we the only one who is rallying or falling? Now, when I look at the global markets and I see that the world markets are stable and hitting lifetime highs, but India is way far underperforming, and underperformance
Yes.
can be reason of rupee depreciation, because when FIs have been pulling out money left, right, and center, because they see the risk of not returns but also of a rupee. If rupee is depreciating by 3-4% and they are entering the market for making 10%, the risk is pretty high. And if the yield in the US itself is going to give them 4.65% current yield and 4.7% there, they will refrain from entering into an emerging market because the yield itself there is much higher. And then they have a variety of an AI stocks they are looking at. So India became an underdog where no one is looking at it, and it has been written off. But if rupee starts appreciating and coming back to 92, like the forecast is suggesting,
Yeah.
that appreciation will happen, will result into money flowing back into the country from outside, which means money flowing back into India will flow back into the markets also. And that's also in suggestive that we on the weekly chart of Nifty we saw how higher low pattern formation happening. So rupee appreciation can be the outcome if you look at it in a way, because the money flow rupee appreciated. But in a way, if I'm looking at the chart, I'm forecasting rupee. So I'm expecting that rupee appreciation is helping us to go higher. So it's like a chicken and egg story. And I look at what's happening with rupee, what's happening where the money is flowing. Money never sleeps. It
No.
just moves from one asset to the next asset, one economy to the next. So where is it flowing? And I think it will flow back to India. We have been an underperformer since 2 years. World markets have done exceptionally well, and we have yet to catch up there. So it might be time. So look at the global picture. Where do we stand? And then look at what's happening with rupee. Look at what's happening with bullions. See where the money is flowing into, and then take a judgmental call which sector. So similarly, you can also look at sectors. IT was a stark underperformer, but until
Yeah.
last 3 weeks back, you see IT has started showing uh, a very
Yeah.
classic reversal signal. I'll again, since I touched upon IT, I'll go back on the chart to show across
Okay.
why, uh, what is the area of significance or the price area that we already spoke about, uh, and why you should be also looking at those reversal areas. So if I go to CNX IT here, I'm not asking anyone to buy or sell anything. I'm just trying to showcase the how do you identify these areas of reversal. So if I look at it, simply again look at it. This was the price resistance which we saw in 2021. In entire 2022, June, July, October, price took support here. Again in April 2023, prices took support here. And now when everything crashed down back here, if you look at it, it is June 2026 when everyone has written off IT, prices took support exactly at this level. And this level is also a trend line which has been drawn from way back, It's not just now. It's since 2003 that trend line is drawn where the price found support. Just look at it. There was an outlier here, and you can draw a zone again of a trend line. So just simply connecting it and pushing it down because that's an outlier area. This becomes my trend line support zone. Plus, there is a cycle zone, which I have drawn when the IT index usually tends to move up. I need to tweak that a little to get it more apt. It has been shifted to some extent, but I can also do that. And also look at the volumes here. I mean, huge volume, which has been not seen in the past since 2020 onwards. These volumes were seen now, which means something major is cooking up. I'm just saying that. I'm not asking to buy or sell. I'm saying now you have to keep a watch. Something major is cooking up. The problem is when these stocks rallies sharply, then people start jumping in. Okay, now I should buy IT or do that. No, when no one is looking at it, you should start identifying such opportunities and start identifying such trends. I'm not asking to buy now. I'm saying that identify this way the zone, areas of reversal, then the patterns, and then the entry and exit basis of the risk that you have.
Okay. So Ashish, thanks for giving us the time. I'll just sum up what Ashish said. आशीष जी ने क्या कहा? सबसे पहले आप जो बिग पिक्चर जिसको हम बोलते हैं, वीकली चार्ट से आप स्टार्ट करो. इफ यू वांट टू बी ऑन द राइट साइड ऑफ द प्राइस एक्शन, आप 5 मिनट 15 मिनट इंट्राडे 60 मिनट्स डेली देखोगे तो आप डायरेक्शन में राइट रहोगे, बट आपका स्टॉप लॉस बार बार हिट होगा. यू विल बी राइट ऑन द डायरेक्शन, but your stop loss will hit regularly. So follow what Ashish has said. Start with the foundational chart, which is your higher time frame, which is a weekly. In that, you just study the price action. Come down to one time frame lower, which is the daily time frame charts. वहां पे आप जो पैटर्न्स देखते हो, हेड एंड शोल्डर, ट्रायंगल्स, या आपको कोई भी इंडिकेटर ऑक्सीलेटर डालना हो फॉर अ रिवर्सल, लेट्स से एमएसीडी, आरएसआई, मूविंग एवरेजेस, वो आपके डेली चार्ट्स पे होना चाहिए. बट देखिए डेली चार्ट्स में भी बहुत बार क्या होता है ना, एंट्री और स्टॉप लॉस के बीच में 5 से 7% का भी डिफरेंस आता है. तो इतना बड़ा रिस्क एज अ ट्रेडर हमें लेना नहीं है. व्हाई? बिकॉज वी हैव फर्दर रूल्स डिफाइंड टू फाइन ट्यून द रिस्क. तो हम जाके 60 मिनट्स टाइम फ्रेम चार्ट्स पे जाके we fine tune the entry and reduce the risk. See, the lower the risk, the bigger will be your position in terms of position sizing. Have I summed it rightly, Ashish?
Absolutely, absolutely perfectly.
Okay. One last question, Ashish. Mr. Fernandez has asked, what are the main time frame for intraday? For swing, it's weekly, daily, and 60 minutes. What are the multiple time frames you will give for a day trader?
So for intraday, I would say just look at daily just to understand the mood of the market. Do not execute on daily. Just look at daily. What has happened? Is it a bullish candle that has formed over the past few days? Is it bearish candle? Is it near the support? Then go on 60 minutes to find out the overall pattern. And then 15 minutes is what I would suggest you should execute trades on. Even if you are trading position, 15 minutes can be a good time frame because earlier I used to never go below 60 minutes for my swing trading. But what happened is because of the movement so heavy, 60 minutes is giving me too far away risk and also was giving me too far away as my target. So that became very challenging. So it has become more important when the volatility is very high. I have to drill down to 15 minutes to identify my reversal area. So if you are an intraday trader, then you have to look at 15 minutes chart as an execution chart time frame. 5 minutes I would suggest only if you are an expert, you understand what exactly you are doing, because movement can be very fast. And only if my 60-15 is in sync, then 5 I will pull trigger. But if 60 and 15 is against me, I don't go to 5 minutes, because then I might get trapped. So always remember the top-down approach in the bigger trend. So always trend is your friend. Trend के direction में trade करना. If my hourly is bullish, my 15 minutes I'll take bullish signals. So that's how we have to do it.
Okay. So Ashish just now said trend is your friend, and I would add like trend is your friend till it bends at the very end. Stay on the right side of the price. Don't try to fight the price. Go with the flow. Build your system around price action. Build your system around multiple time frames. Build your system. So building a system will remove the element of speculation from your trading. Have I some?
Absolutely. Correctly. Perfect.
Yeah, so
Perfect.
that's how I have taken this learning from today's session, Ashish. And thank you so much for taking out time, Ashish, and giving us your valuable 45 minutes to an hour. Thank you so much, Ashish.
It was my pleasure, and it has been wonderful interacting with you. Thanks for inviting me on this platform. And it's very important that we spread the right way in which it works. As I said, I'm a trader, and I'm passionate about ensuring people learn from me, because in 2008 when I was learning, it was a challenge, but now
Okay.
it has been give time to give back of whatever I have, and this is how we can do it.
Okay. So next time I know all the participants, Ashish, who are joining. So is your book available on Amazon, Ashish, or we have to go to your website to
Yes,
order it? Because
yes.
definitely it needs them. I'm going to do it right now.
Yeah, the book is available on Amazon, but at times it is out of stock on Amazon. So I'll just give a link on the chat. It is
Sure.
wavestrategy.com/books. On the chat, it has gone to the organizers. If they can simply send it across to everyone. So it is wavestrategy.com/books, where you can find the book. I can just share across uh, QR code if I might find one. I'm just checking if I have a QR code. I can just share the screen across. This book is going to be an amazing read for everyone and anyone who wants to get a hang of how actually market works. It was written in. It took me 2 years to write it, and it was published in 2020 by Routledge Publishing House in London. So launched
Okay.
in London. We had it on October 2020 in London, and that was a very classic read. I just trying to find out the QR link for the QR code for the book so that users can simply go and order. No, I don't think I have the QR code for the book here, but you can go to wavestrategy.com/books is where
Okay.
user can find.
Sure, Ashish. So thank you, Ashish. Once again, we had a wonderful time today, and this make this as a foundational knowledge or the understanding to take your trading career forward. Thanks, Ashish, and thanks everybody for attending this session.
Thank you. It was pleasure is mine, and looking forward for again. Thank you very much.